Introduction to CapCut's Pro features. CapCut Overview. CapCut has grown from a simple mobile editing app to a full-featured tool with advanced editing capabilities. Whether you're editing a quick clip for social media or a full-length YouTube video, CapCut Pro gives you a power of professional-level editing right at your fingertips. Creating a new project. The first thing you will do when opening CapCut is create a new project. For that, you can just click in here as Create Project, and this interface will be opened. Choose your aspect ratio based on where your video will be published. 16:9 for YouTube, 9:16 for Instagram, etc. Importing media. To import the media, you can just click in here and go to the folder that where you have saved. For example, you can just click in here, and for now, we're going with this image and click on Open. And here you can see you have imported this file. The right project setup is crucial to ensure your video is optimized for its intended platform. Workspace and timeline. When you first enter the editing workspace, you will see three main sections. The timeline, this will be the timeline. Preview window, as this will be the preview window. And the tool panel. And here you can see these are all the tools that you will use in this project. Let's break them down. Timeline. This is your timeline. This is where you will spend most of your time. The timeline is divided into multiple tracks: video, audio, text, etc. So you can layer different elements of your video. Preview window. This is your preview window. The preview window lets you see what your edits will look like in real time. You can watch your video as you make changes, ensuring everything flows smoothly. For example, you can just drag this file in here on the timeline, and for example, you just click in here and make changes to that. Then this will be the preview window where all your changes will be visible. Tool panel. The tool panel is on the left side, is where all the core features live. And these are all the tools as well, which you will be using in this project. This is where you will find your basic editing tools. For example, cut, trim, split, advanced effects, transitions, and text animation options. For example, you have split options in here, and you have transitions in here, effects in here, and all of these available. And we will explore each and everything in this project. Organizing your timeline and using the tool panel efficiently will save you a lot of time in the long run. Make sure to label and organize your tracks as you work. CapCut Pro features. Now, let's explore some of the key features in CapCut Pro that will set your videos apart. Keyframe animation. Keyframe animation is one of CapCut's most powerful tools. It allows you to animate nearly every property of a clip, such as position, opacity, and scale, across multiple points in your timeline. By adding keyframes at different points, you can create smooth transitions and motion effects. To add keyframes, you can use in here. For example, you can create a keyframe in here for rotate as well, and for scale and transform as well. So you can use all of these keyframes whenever needed. Why this matters? With keyframe animation, you can create professional level animations without needing to use complicated softwares. It adds a dynamic and fluid look to your edits, making them feel more polished. Advanced transitions. CapCut offers a variety of transitions including basic fades, slides, and wipes, as well as custom transitions for more creative effects. You can adjust the duration, speed, and direction of transitions to make them feel more natural. Here you can see when you just click in here as transitions, and you have all of these transitions available. You have Pro, Hits, Overlay. You can have a preview of how this transition will look like. For example, we'll just go with Pro or trending ones. You can use any of these, and this shows that this is a Pro one, and we can use that as we are using the Pro version. This one. You can use this animation or comparison, zoom swipe, or like here you can see twist flip, like this as well. While transitions are great, use them sparingly. Too many transitions can distract from your content, so place them strategically to emphasize your key moments in your video. Effects and filters. For that, you can just click in here for filters, as we have two different tabs for filters, and for effects you can just click in here. So you can hover over there, and here you can see we have different effects. And for filters you can just click in here, and these are all the filters that you can use in your video. Whether you want to add a vintage filter, apply a glitch effect, or create cinematic color grading, CapCut has tools to make your footage stand out. Text and titles. We have different text effects. Here you can see we have Pro ones as well, the basic ones, and glow as well. And here you can see, and you can just have text templates as well, like this one, and this one as well. You can explore all of these as well. For social media, you can use these, as here you can see. For vlogs, you can just use these ones, here you can see. So it all depends at which type of video are you creating. This can include captions, subtitles, or even artistic text animations to highlight important moments in your video. Audio editing. CapCut offers robust audio editing tools, including volume adjustments, fade-ins and fade-outs, and the ability to sync audio with your video. You can also import background music and sound effects to create an immersive experience for your viewers. Or you can use the built-in library as well. For that, you can just click in here, go to audio. Here is the built-in library of sounds and music that you can use in the video you are working on. For example, you can just download this one and drag this in here as an audio track. And here you can see, you can adjust it accordingly. Combining these advanced features like keyframes, transitions, effects and audio allows you to create polished, cinematic videos without needing complex software. Setting up your project for success. Creating a new project in CapCut. When you first open CapCut, in here, the very first thing you will do is create a new project. Like in here, when you just click in here to create a new project. So this is the interface. This step is important because it sets the foundation for the entire video editing process. Here's how to get started. Step 1. Open CapCut. Open the CapCut app in here and click on Create Project in here to start editing. You will be prompted to select your media files. Now you will have to import your footages, images and audio clips in here. Choose your aspect ratio. The aspect ratio is crucial because it determines how your video will be displayed on different platforms. For aspect ratio, you can just click in here and you have all these options available like 16:9, 4:3 and all of these. 16:9, standard for YouTube, Vimeo and most social media videos. 9:16, like this one. Ideal for Instagram stories, TikTok and vertical video platforms. 1:1, in here. Square format, perfect for Instagram posts. Why this matters? Choosing the correct aspect ratio from the start will save you time and effort down the road. It prevents cropping, stretching, and adjusting your clips later on. Always set the aspect ratio based on the platform you plan to publish on. This ensures that your video looks exactly how you want it to when it's uploaded. Importing and organizing assets. Now that your project is set up, the next step is importing your media and organizing it. This is a step that many creators overlook, but it's essential for smooth editing. Importing media. CapCut allows you to import a variety of media types, including video, images, and audio. You will have to click in here as import. And here you can see we have created a folder named CapCut Pro, and you can just click in here. And we'll have to select all the footages, audio, and graphics. We have all the footages that we'll be using in here, so you can just see all that if you want to. So you can select any of these. For example, if you want to import all of these, so you can just select all by pressing Ctrl+A and click on open. And here you can see all the videos have been imported in here. Or you can use CapCut's built-in library of free resources. Organizing your assets. To keep things neat and make the editing process easier, it's a good idea to organize your assets. For that, you will have to create folders for your clips, audio files, and images. For that, you can just right click on that, and here is the option as new folder. You can name it, scroll down a bit. This folder has been created. To rename that, you can just click in here and rename that. For example, it has videos or footage, so you can name it as footage and click on save. And you can move all of these clips in here one by one as well, but if you want to select more, so you can press Ctrl and select all of these. And move all of these files in a folder. And when you open this folder, it has all the footage in here. And you will have to do the same thing again, like you can just right click in here, click on new folder, and you can just rename that as audio. And click on save, open that and click in here as import. Go back and select audio and select all of these as we have sounds in here. Go back to all, Right click again and new folder, rename that with graphics and click on save. Open that, click on import and go back and go to graphics folder, select these as we have in here, all of these images, and click on open. Here you can see you have imported all the images as well that we'll be using in this project. Why this matters? An organized workspace will help you save time and avoid confusion as your project progresses. Plus, if you're working on larger projects with many clips, it will help you stay focused and efficient. Spend a little time organizing at the start. It's a small investment that will pay off as your project grows. Setting up your timeline. The timeline is where most of the editing happens, and setting it up correctly can make your workflow much more efficient. Here's what you need to know. Multiple tracks. CapCut allows you to add multiple tracks to your timeline. This is crucial when you want to layer different elements like video clips, audio tracks, text, and effects. Video tracks. Place your video clips on the video tracks, making sure they align correctly. For example, we just go to footage folder, and for example, you just choose this one and drag it on the timeline. So this is your video track. Use separate audio tracks for background music, sound effects, and voiceovers. This way, you can easily adjust the audio without affecting your video. For that, you can just go back to folders and use audio folder, and you can use any of these. But for now, we're going with this one and drag it on the audio track in here. So this is your audio track and this is your video track. Editing space. The timeline allows you to zoom in and out for finer control over your edits. To zoom in, you can use this icon as zoom in, and for zoom out, you can use this one. If you're working with a long project, zoom in to work on small details and zoom out for a broader view of your entire project. Here you can see when you just zoom in, you have more control over the edits. And when you just zoom out, here you can see the broader view of the project. Keep your timeline as simple as possible. Avoid clutter by only adding tracks you actually need. This will help you stay organized and make it easier to navigate as you edit. Optimizing your workspace for efficiency. A well-organized workspace will help you edit faster and with less stress. Here are some tips for optimizing your editing environment. Customizing the interface. CapCut allows you to resize and adjust the layout of your workspace. For that, you can just click in here. And here you have options like default, media, attributes, and vertical. For example, you just want to go with attributes, then the entire layout will be changed. When you just choose media, then the media file will be in here. Then the interface will become like this. But if you go with default or vertical, you have this in here. Like preview window is in here, and the timeline is here, and here is the media folders. With vertical layout, you have the preview window in here, timeline in here, and media in here. And here is the keyframe window. If you prefer a larger preview window, you can resize it to your liking. You can also move the timeline, tool panel, and other sections for better accessibility. But as we are working on default, so you can just go to default. So this is your timeline, and you can just reduce the size of that and reduce the size of that as well if you want the preview window in here. But if you want the timeline a little more visible, so you can just drag this up, and here you can see you have timeline in here, preview window in here, and media in here. Shortcut keys. Learn the shortcut keys to speed up your workflow. For example, use Ctrl+Z to undo actions and spacebar to play or pause the video. Types of transitions in CapCut. What are transitions? Before we dive into the specific types of transitions, let's briefly talk about what transitions are and why they matter. Transitions are the effects used to move from one clip to another. They provide a visual and sometimes audio cue to help ease the viewer from one scene to the next. Basic transitions. CapCut provides several basic transitions that can be applied with just a few clicks. These are the building blocks of your editing toolkit. Easy to use but impactful when used correctly. For example, we have added these clips on the timeline. Here you can see. When you just play this video from here and the scene changes, it just feels a little abrupt change. To make it smooth, we use transitions, and when you just click in here you can see you have multiple options like trending, pro, hits, overlay, and all of that. The most common one is fade. When you search for fade in here you can see you have black fade, blur, fade up, wiggly fade, fade flicker, and all of these. But the most basic one is this one. Or you can use fade up as well. It's often used at the beginning or end of the scene to create a smooth, slow shift between clips. You can use a fade to black or a fade to white, depending on the desired effect. Like this one is fade to black. When to use it? A fade is perfect for moments when you want to signal the end of a scene or indicate a passage of time. Cut. A simple, straight transitions when one clip cuts directly to another. For that, you can just search for cut. And here you can see you have comic cut, action cuts, cut reveal, and cut and expand, laser cuts, and all of them. While not technically a transition in the traditional sense, it is the most basic and often most effective, especially in fast-paced or documentary-style videos. When to use it? Ideal for fast-paced editing or when you want to make a clean, sharp transition between scenes. Slide. The slide transition moves the next clip in from a direction, left, right, up, or down, to reveal the new scene. For that, you can just search for slide. And here you can see you have slide in here, slide left, horizontal slice, and you can just go for open as well. These have different types like zoom out slide, shaky swing, and you can explore all of them, like swirl as well. These transitions can add a dynamic, moving feel to your video. When to use it? Great for upbeat, energetic videos or when you want to give a sense of motion or change in direction. Advanced transitions. Next, we will learn some of the more advanced transitions CapCut has to offer. These can add unique flair and creativity to your edits. Zoom. The zoom transition creates the effect of either zooming in or out of a scene. For that, you can just click in here and write zoom. So you have different zoom options like delay zoom, snap zoom, zoom swipe, tremble zoom, zoom burn, and all of these, like clumsy pan as well, zoom snap, blur zoom out, so you can explore all of them as well. It can add excitement or drama depending on the speed and direction of the zoom. When to use it? Use the zoom transitions to emphasize a scene or make a dynamic move between scenes, particularly in action or suspenseful sequences. Ripple. The ripple transition creates a wave-like effect that ripples across the screen, blending the two clips together. For that, you can just type in here as ripple, and here you can see you have different ripple effects like this one, and ripple lens as well, wide ripple, and spin ripple, circle, whirlpool, and all of these. Like it depends that on what project you're working on. Like spin ripple again, and we have all these options available. Like rippling. It's a more creative, fluid way of moving between scenes, often used for artistic or stylized content. When to use it? Perfect for experimental videos or when you want to create an artistic or dreamy feel between transitions. Wipe. The wipe transition moves from one clip to the next by sliding a shape, like a line, circle, or custom shape, across the screen. It's a more distinctive and attention-grabbing transition. For that, you can just click in here as wipe. So you have options like wipe down, wipe right, wipe left, wipe up, and scare wipe, like this one, central wipe, and clock wipe, gradient wipe, so you can explore all of them as well. When to use it? Wipes are ideal for bold, dramatic moments or transitions between contrasting scenes. They are commonly used in action videos or to emphasize a significant shift in the story. Custom transitions. CapCut also allows for the creation of custom transitions. By combining effects, animations, and keyframe adjustments, you can design your own unique transitions that fit your video's style and tone. How to create custom transitions? Keyframe animation. Use keyframes to animate the position, scale, or opacity of clips. You can adjust these properties to create smooth, custom transitions that look organic. Layering effects. Combine basic transitions like fades with other effects, such as blur or motion, to make a more customized, layered transition. Why this matters? Custom transitions give you the flexibility to align your video edits with your personal style or brand. They are especially useful for creators who want their edits to feel unique and professional. For example, you just want to apply wipe transition on this clip, so you can just drag one in here and drop it in here at the start. So when you just play this video from here, this is a transition. So this is how you can apply transitions in CapCut. Custom transitions and animated effects. Custom transitions. These are transitions that you create by combining different editing techniques rather than relying on the default ones in CapCut. You can make a transition that is unique to your style or brand. This can involve combining keyframe animations, layering effects, or using creative techniques like masking. Animated effects. These are dynamic effects applied to elements within your video, such as text, images, or clips. Using keyframes and CapCut's built-in tools, you can animate these elements, making them move, scale, or change over time. These effects add energy and visual interest to your videos. Creating custom transitions. CapCut allows you to create transitions that go beyond what's available in the default library. Here's how you can do that. Step 1. Use keyframes for smooth animation. The key to a custom transition is using keyframe animation. Keyframes allow you to animate properties over time. For example, you can animate the position of one clip to slide off the screen while another one slides in from the opposite side. This creates a smooth, custom transition between the two. How to use keyframes? Select the clip you want to animate, for example, this one. So you can just click on that. And this is the area where your keyframes will be working. For example, you just click in here, set the starting position of the clip. This is your first keyframe. For example, you just press this one, and this is the first frame. And for example, you just want this video to come from this side, from left side specifically. So for that, you can just enter a value in here as, for example, 3800. So it is on the left, so you can increase that. And you can just set a keyframe in here. So add a keyframe. Like you can press the arrow icon for 10 times forward. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Or you can just increase to 20, for example, in here. And you just want this clip to move to the left. For that, you can just enter the gain value as 0. So when you just play this video from here, here you can see this video just slides in from the left. CapCut will animate the clip between these keyframes, creating a smooth motion effect. Why this works? By using keyframes, you can create transitions that feel more integrated into the video, giving it a polished, seamless look. You are no longer limited to pre-made transitions. Step 2. Layering effects for custom transitions. Another way to create custom transitions is by layering different effects on your clips. For example, you can combine a motion blur with a zoom effect to create a dramatic transitions from one clip to the next. For example, you search for zoom effect in here, and you apply this one and drag it in here and drag it on the clip that you want to animate, and you just select the duration for that, select the speed, and you just want to add another one as motion blur, and you just drag it in here and drop it again and select the duration of that as well for a little while, and you just play this video from here. By adjusting the timing of the effects and using keyframes, you can make the transitions look fluid and professional. Experiment with different combinations of effects and keyframes. Layering subtle effects like a quick blur followed by a zoom in can make transitions feel unique and customized. Using animated effects for text, images, and clips. Now let's talk about animated effects. These are particularly useful when you want to add movement to static elements like text or images. Text animation. CapCut offers a variety of text animation presets, but you can also create your own by applying keyframes to the text. For example, you can animate a title to fade in, slide from the side, or scale up as the scene progresses. How to animate text. For example, we just go at the beginning of this video and you can just go to text, add text, default text. For example, you just remove this text and write in here as a trip to remember. Okay, and you just drag it in here, for example. Select your text and apply a keyframe at the start position. You can just click in here, scroll down a bit, and here you have options like opacity. So you can just add a keyframe, but opacity will be 0, for example. Move the playhead to where you want the animation to end and adjust opacity to 100%. Or change the position to make the text appear from the side. For example, you just move the playhead from here a little bit, and now change the opacity to 100%. Add a keyframe and opacity to 100%. So when you play this video, here you can see a trip to remember. To change the position of the text, so you can just select the text and scroll down a bit. Here is the position, so you can just select a keyframe from here at the start of that, and you can just add a keyframe in here and press it in here, and let's see how it goes. For example, let's say you just type in here a minus 1500, for example. Now drag this keyframe at the first frame, and now you will add another keyframe in here, keyframe, and now you will write in here as minus 750, for example, minus 750, and press enter. Now when you display this video, here you can see this is how you can animate text in CapCut. CapCut will animate the text between these 2 points, creating a smooth animation effect. Animating images and clips. Just like with text, you can animate images and video clips to move, scale, and rotate. For example, you can create a zoom in effect to a photo to emphasize it, or have a video clip slowly fading from a blurred state. How to animate clips. Choose the clip you want to animate and use keyframes to adjust its position, scale, or opacity over time. For example, you just want to animate this clip, so select this one, go to the first frame of the clip, and you can just click in here to add keyframe. Now go to the place where you want this clip to have end, and now change the scale to 150, for example. And now when you play this video from the start, here you can see the zoom effect as well, as this is expanding. You can change the speed of the zoom as well. For example, you just add another keyframe in here and change this zoom to 150, and you just play this video from here, and here you can see you have the zoom effect a little more faster than the previous one. This can create smooth transitions between clips and bring attention to specific moments in your video. When animating clips or text, always think about how the animation contributes to the overall pacing and story of your video. Subtle animations often work best when you want to maintain the video's flow. Introduction to motion graphics in CapCut. What are motion graphics? Motion graphics combine graphic design and animation to create moving visuals. Unlike traditional animation, which typically focuses on characters or storylines, motion graphics are more about animating elements like text, logos, icons, or shapes to add visual flair to your video. These can be used to emphasize key points, explain concepts, or simply make your video more interesting. Why are motion graphics important? Engagement. Motion graphics catch the viewer's eye, helping to keep them interested and engaged throughout the video. Clarity. They can help explain complex ideas in a simple, visual way, like animated text or charts that reinforce your message. Professionalism. When done right, motion graphics can give your video a polished, high-quality feel, similar to what you might see in TV shows or commercials. Creating motion graphics in CapCut. Now, let's explore how to create motion graphics using CapCut's tools. While CapCut may not have all the features of high-end software, it's incredibly user-friendly and allows you to create impressive motion graphics without requiring advanced skills. Let's break down the steps. Animating text. Text animations are one of the easiest ways to start with motion graphics in CapCut. You can animate text to move, fade, zoom, or rotate, adding excitement and visual interest to your videos. Step 1. Add text. For that, you can just click in here and drag it on the timeline. Rename that in here. For example, you write in here as scuba diving, and you just go to position. To make it a little lower, for that you can just type in here and -800 for example, or you can go with 700. So yeah, this looks a little better. Now step 2, apply an animation preset. CapCut offers a variety of text animation presets. These include options like fade-ins, slides, and zooms. Select the text, for example in here, go to the animation tab as in here, and here you can see you have multiple options in here, and choose an effect that suits the tone of your video. For example, just go to in and hover over in here and type in here as, and this is how it will look like. Or you can select this one as well, and this is how it will look, but you can choose any of these as per requirement. For example, you just download this one and click in here. So this effect has been applied. For example, start this video in here and play. Here you can see this is how you can animate text in CapCut. Step 3, customize the animation. If you want to go further, you can customize the animation by adjusting its duration, timing, and movement. To adjust the duration, you can just click in here, as here you can see it says 0.5 seconds. You can set it to 1 second, for example, and play this video from here, and here you can see it just comes a little slower. If you want more slower, then you can just go back to animations and select the duration to, for example, 2 seconds, and play this video from here. And here you can see it looks a little familiar to the ocean as well, and it looks a little slower and perfect for the video. So you just play this video from here. Here you can see why this works. Text animations help emphasize key points in your video and make the information easier to digest for your audience. Animating images and shapes. In addition to text, CapCut allows you to animate images and shapes. This can be useful when you want to add movement to static elements in your video, such as logos, icons, or illustrations. Step 1. Import an image. As we have already imported an image, so you can just go to media, go to all, and go to graphics. And for example, you just want to add an image in here at the last in here. So you can just go back where you want to add, like in here, and you can just choose any of these. For example, a hiking one, so you can use this one as well. Drag it on the timeline in here. Add an image or graphic to your project by importing it into the timeline. You can import logos, illustrations, or other visual elements that will benefit from animation. As we have imported graphics, so you can just open graphic folder, and for example, you just want to choose this one, so you can just drag it on the timeline in here. Step 2. Use keyframes to animate. The key to animating images in CapCut is using keyframes. Keyframes allow you to define a starting and ending point of an image's position, size, or opacity, and CapCut will animate the transition between those points. For example, if you want to animate this photo, so you can add a keyframe in here, and at the ending point or till half of this duration, you can increase the size. And if you want the image to be a little lower, so you can just add keyframe in here at the starting point from this, and add a keyframe in here, go to this point, and if you want this to be a little lower, so you can just add -700. Here you can see it just skips a little part, so you can just go minus with -650, -600. So it looks a little perfect for now. So when you just play this video from here you can see we have added 2 keyframes for the scale and for the position as well. You can animate a logo to slowly zoom in or make an icon slide from the side of the screen. Step 3. Adjust the timing. Adjust the duration of the animation by setting keyframes at different points along the timeline. For example, if you want to zoom in a little faster, so you can drag this point closer to the starting point, and when you just play this video, here you can see. But if you want to zoom in a little slower, so you can just drag this keyframe a little far from this starting point. So when you just play this video, here you can see this zooms in a little slower than the previous one. This gives you control over how fast or slow the animation happens. Why this works? Animating images or logos add a dynamic visual element to your video, keeping it fresh and engaging. Using shapes for motion graphics. CapCut offers a variety of shapes like rectangles, circles, or lines that you can animate to create simple, effective motion graphics. These are perfect for creating lower thirds, graphic overlays, or simple transitions between scenes. Step 1. Add a shape. To create motion graphics, start by adding a shape to your video. You can resize and position the shape as needed. For that, you can just click in here as stickers. For example, you write in here as circle and press enter. And here you can see you have all these elements. You can download that and you can just use any of these. For example, you just want to go with this one as it is already animated, so you can just download that and drag it on the timeline. For example, if you want to highlight that specific person, and you can resize that as well. So for example, when you just play this video from here, so this shows that you want to highlight that specific person. Step 2. Animate the shape. For example, if you want to go with other shapes, so you can just search for example, rectangle and search for this one and go back. For example, in here, you want to highlight this one and want to add a rectangle in here. So you can use any of these. For example, this one, just drag it on the timeline. And for example, you just want to add the rectangle to this entire video in here. You can change the size of that as well, like for example this one, and you can change the position as well. For example, we want to go with -100 or -200, for example 150 or -200, and reduce the size of that for a little bit and want to go with -50. Yeah, it looks in the center. Use keyframes to animate the shape's movement, opacity, or size. For example, you can animate a rectangle to slide across the screen or expand as part of a transition. For example, you just reduce the size of that in here at the beginning of the video, and you just want to expand as the video goes. So you can just add a keyframe, go at the end of this video and a little back and expand the size to, for example, in here. So when you just play this video from the start, here you can see this rectangle is also expanding as we have added a keyframe in here. Step 3. Combine with text or other elements. Once your shape is animated, you can combine it with other elements like text to create more complex motion graphics. Why this works? Simple shapes can be used to create a wide range of visual effects, from subtle transitions to eye-catching graphics that reinforce your message. Advanced motion effects and layering. What are advanced motion effects? Motion effects animate clips or elements across time. In CapCut, you will find several motion tools that help you add visual energy and smooth flow. Let's break down the most powerful ones. Using speed ramping to enhance motion. Speed ramping lets you gradually change playback speed within a clip, slowing down for dramatic emphasis or speeding up to maintain pace. How to apply in CapCut. Select your clip. For example, you just want to apply speed ramping on this clip in here. So select this one and go to speed in here. And here you can see, you can change the speed by using this bar. And now you will have to click on curve. Here we have multiple options like custom, montage, hero, bullet, speed cut, flash in or flash out. For example, you just want to go with montage. So you can just click in here. You can select that in here, like specific if you want to change that, so you can just change in here. But for example, when you just play this video in here, so this is how the video will feel like. Let's play that again with full quality and let's see how it shows. So let's go with full screen and play this video. So this is how the video will look like. Use keyframes to control where the speed increases or decreases. For example, you can use a curve as well. Like if you want to go with custom one, here you can see you can change the speed wherever you want to increase or decrease. For example, like this, like that. Add another keyframe in here. And speed this up like this. So let's play this video from here. So it has been slowed down a little more, but if you want to change that, so you can just increase the speed from here and decrease that in here. So let's play this video from the start. So this is how you can apply speed ramping in CapCut. You can choose all other options as well, like you have options like montage, hero, bullet, jump cut, flash in or flash out as well. For example, if you want to undo all that and go with jump cut, so you can just click in here and play this video from the start. And here will be the jump cut. So here you can see you can change that as well. For example, you can just increase that so to make it a little smoother. So play this video from the start. So this is how it can be applied. Why it works? It highlights important moments and builds cinematic tensions without abrupt cuts. Applying motion blur for a dynamic feel. Motion blur simulates the blur seen during fast movement in real life. It's a subtle touch that makes motion feel smoother and more realistic. How to use in CapCut. For example, if you want to apply motion blur to this specific clip, so you can just click in here, go to effects in here, search for motion blur and press enter. This is the motion blur, so you can just click in here and apply that by dragging it and dropping on the clip that you want it to be applied. Effect edit. So when you just play this video, here you can see you can change the strength as well. For example, if you want to slow that down, so you can just go back to 0, or if you want to increase that, so you can just increase up to 100. But to make it a little smoother, so it should be in the mid range at 50. So when you just play this video in here with full screen, you can see to make it a little more engaging and cinematic, you can apply motion blur to any clip you want to. But don't forget to adjust the intensity of this motion blur effect. For that, you can use this bar. To decrease that, you can just go back in here, or to increase that, you can use up to 100. Why it works? It softens transitions and adds realism, especially during fast actions or transitions. 3D motion effects for depth. 3D motion gives you control over how objects move within 3 dimensions, not just across the screen, but forward and backwards too. How to use in CapCut. Select a clip or element. For example, if you want to apply on this clip, so you can select that clip and search for 3D. Press enter. Here you have all the 3D effects like 3D turn display, 3D font 2, 3D hollow, 3D surrounded, or 3D rotation as well. Like you can explore all of these. But for example, if you want to go with 3D hollow, so you can download that like this, or you can have 3D rotation like that. For example, if you want to apply on a specific image, so you can just have another image in here, go to graphics folder, and for example, if you want to apply this effect on this one, or you can choose this one as well, drag it in here and select the 3D effect from here, and for example, you just want to go with 3D rotation, and now select that specific graphic and scale up to, for example, like this, so that it fits the screen. As we imported this graphic, so select that one and search for 3D effect in here. And for example, if you want to go with this one, like 3D screens, 3D turn display, 3D holo, 3D rotation, 3D surrounded, so you can go with any of these. For example, you just want to go with this one, so select this one, and this is how it will be showing. So you can just select this one and drag it on the specific graphic. And now let's say you just want to play this video from here with full screen. So this is how it will look like. You can change the speed, strength, blurriness and size as well. But for example, if you want to go with other effect like 3D holo, 3D surrounded, so you can just drag that to a specific clip in here. And let's play this video from here. So this is how it will look like. Why it works? This adds depth to your visuals, especially for logos, text and transitions, making them feel like more lifelike and cinematic. Layering elements in CapCut. Layering means stacking elements, video, text, audio or graphics on separate tracks to build complex scenes. It's how professional editors add depth and structure to edits. Working with multiple tracks. Each track in CapCut holds a different element. You can animate each layer separately using keyframes, scale or position tools. For example, here you can see we have this track is for the graphic that we have used in here, this one, and the last track we are working on, like this one, this is the image that we have used and applied a 3D effect on that. You can add as many tracks as you want to, but it will make your timeline more complex. In this timeline, the only thing that we are missing is the audio track. So for that, you can just go with audio or with media that we have already uploaded. So you can go with audio folder and you just want to add all of these musics that we have already downloaded. So you can just add to this audio track in here, and here you can see you can just resize that so that it fits the audio track. So here you can see the audio tracks is exactly as much as it should be on the timeline. So here you can see the audio track matches with the video as it is not extended. So here you can see we have tracks like first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth and the seventh one. So we are working on 7 different tracks simultaneously. You can adjust properties like scale, movement and timing. You can just crop this as well. If you want to extend that, it is extendable, but as we just want to fit it to the timeline, so here you can see you can use an fade in effect, adjust the volume and fade out as well. Why it works? You can create scenes where different elements interact, like animated text over video or a logo on top of moving footage. Using opacity for creative transitions. Opacity controls how visible a layer is. Changing it can create a smooth transitions, fades or overlays. For example, if you want to add another media in here, for example, go to media, to all and graphics for example, and you just want to add this footage in here and you just want to drag it in here. So scale that up. But here you can see when you play this video from here, from this moment, it abruptly comes, okay? But if you want to apply fade in manually, so you can just select this clip, go to blend and click in here, opacity to 0, and at the first frame of this video you can just zoom in for precise editing at the first frame, and you just want to have here as 100. So now when you just play this video from here you can see it just fades in and it just gives a smooth flow of this video. Now when you just play this video from the start in here, it gives a fade in effect and you can adjust the timing as well, and also it gives a smooth flow to the video. And again, if you want to fade out that specific graphic, so you can just click in here, add keyframe, and at the last frame, so you can just go back in here and go to 0 opacity. And now when you play this video from here you can see it fades out as well. So you can adjust everything manually as well in CapCut. Why it works? It blends elements or shifts focus gently, keeping transitions seamless. Combining audio with layering for depth. Audio layering lets you mix music, voiceovers, and sound effects across different tracks. Each one adds dimension to your edit. How to layer audio in CapCut. As we have already imported audio in here, so for example, you just go at the beginning of this video, you can feel the change in here as well. Like for example, if you want to have another fade in or slow down, so this is how you can change it. And if you go back at the end of this video, in here you can see you have applied fade out for 4.5 seconds. So when you just play this video from here, the music slows down automatically. Why it works? Sound layering enhances emotion, directs attention, and ties visuals together. For instance, background music can set the mood, while a sound effect can emphasize emotion. Mastering motion effects and layering transforms basic edits into polished, cinematic visuals. Keep practicing to refine your timing, creativity, and personal editing style. Editing sound, advanced tools and features. Why sound matters in video editing? Sound affects how we emotionally connect with video. Music builds mood. Effects add realism, and clean voiceovers hold attention. Poor audio, even with great visuals, can ruin the viewer's experience. Set the mood. Music and ambience shape emotion. Support the story. Sound reinforces visual cues and narratives. Keep attention. Clear, balanced sound keeps viewers engaged. CapCut's audio editing tools. CapCut provides a variety of tools to help you layer, sync, clean, and enhance sound in your project. Importing and layering audio tracks. CapCut supports multiple audio layers for music, effects, and voiceovers. How to layer? Import each audio file to a separate track. For example, just go to audio folder, as we have already downloaded some. So you can just take any of these. For example, we just want to go with this one. So drag this and drop it in the timeline in here. So this is the audio track. You can just crop it as per the video. Here you can see. Adjust each track independently for volume, timing, and effects. For example, you just click on this audio track. Here you can see this is the editing area for audio. It has some basic tools, voice changer, and speed as well. For example, if you just increase to 2 times, for example, then it will be reduced to half. For example, if you want to go with 5 times, so you can just drag it in here and it will be reduced 5 times. We'll just go back with 1. You can slow down the speed as well. So you can just go back to half and it will be expanded till there, like in here. But we're working on 1, so you can just type in here as 1x. You can change the pitch of the audio as well. When you just turn this on, its pitch would be automatically changed, but we just want to turn this off for now. We'll just go to basic, and here are the options like volume, fade in, and fade out as well. To decrease the volume, so you can just slow down. Here you can see you can change in the bars as well. Here you can see we just want to keep it a little low, and you can add a fade in at the start for 2.6 seconds, or you can say 3 seconds, and fade out for 3 seconds as well. It has many other options like normalize loudness, enhance voice, audio translator, reduce noise, and separate audio as well. Why this matters? It allows you to mix audio elements without one overpowering the other. Audio syncing with video. Precise syncing is essential for timing voiceovers and matching beats to visuals. How to sync? Zoom in on a timeline for accuracy. For example, you just click in here to zoom in, and you can just listen to the voice or the music. Here you can see. Align dialogue with lip movements or beats with visual transitions. Why this works? Well-synced audio feels smooth and professional. Audio fading and cross-fading. Smooth transitions between audio tracks prevent jarring shifts. How to use? Apply fade in or fade out to adjust volume over time. For example, you just split this sound in here as there is a transition, so you can just split this. And now select this part and select fade in. And select this part and add fade out for 3 seconds. So when you just play this video, It shows that there is a smooth transitions in this video. Use crossfade to blend two clips seamlessly. Why this works? It improves flow and adds polish to scene changes. Keyframing audio volume. Keyframes let you control volume dynamically throughout a clip. For example, you just select this clip, and now you will just add a keyframe in here at the start of this clip. You can just add it a little. First of all, just keep it a normal and in here. But for now, you can just add a keyframe in here, select this one. And you can just add a keyframe for volume, so you can just click in here and go back, for example, till this clip in here. And now you just want the volume to be a little louder, so you can just increase it to this point. So when you just play this video from here, you can see the change in this video. Here you can see when you just play this video and click in here, you can see this change in here as this has been reducing. So this is how you can add keyframes in audio tracks as well. Use this for highlighting or quieting specific moments. Why this works? You get detailed control over audio emphasis and transitions. Noise reduction and audio cleaning. CapCut's noise reduction helps clean up audio recorded in noisy settings. How to use? Select the clip. For example, you select this one, scroll down a bit, and here you can see there is the option reduce noise. When you just click on that, noise reduced. So it has applied the reduced noise effect on this selected clip. Why this works? It removes distractions like hums or static, improving clarity. Advanced audio editing techniques. To go beyond basics, let's look at tools that fine-tune audio for tone and impact. Equalizer settings, EQ. EQ lets you shape the frequency balance of your audio. How to use? For that, you will have to select the clip you want to work on and boost bass for depth or reduce treble to soften harsh tones. For that, you can use arrow keys, and for example, you just want to reduce that, you can put it down, and if you want to increase that, so you can go up with that. Here you can see it automatically increases the volume as well. Match the audio tone to the style of your video. Why this works? Tailoring sound frequencies improves overall audio texture. Applying sound effects. CapCut includes built-in sound effects to amplify key moments. For that, you will go to audio in here and search for example, transition sound effect. When you just play this one like this, so you can just add this effect on the timeline at the time of transition. So you can just drag it in here and drop it in the timeline in here. So when you just play this video from here, so this sound effect has been applied on this transition. Or you can just go with this one, a little smoother one. So we'll just zoom out. We just want to see that which one is smoother one. Yeah, you will have to drag it in here and drop it in here. So play this video. So it just matches with the transition that you have already applied. Adjust timing and volume to blend naturally with the video. Why this works? Sound effects heighten engagement and reinforce visuals, especially during transitions or emotional beats. Sound design. Adding layers of audio. What is sound design? Sound design is the art of manipulating and arranging sound to support the narrative and enhance the emotional impact of a video. How to import audio? For example, you just go to audio folder in here and select any of these. For example, background music, you can use this one, drag it on the timeline in here. But if you want to use the transition sound effect, you can search for audio, and in here you can search for transition sound effect. For example, you could just listen to this one, this one, this one, or this one. You can use any of these, but for example, we just want to go with the simple one like this one. So for example, we just want to go with this transition sound effect, so you can just drag it and drop it on the timeline where transition exists, like in here. So you can just zoom in it so that it fits at the exact time of the transition in here. So when you just play this video like this, or if it is a simple transition, like if you want to delete this one and go for a simple transition like blur one, or you can search for fade like this one, and in here. So when you just play this video like this, although the background sound music is a little louder, so you can just reduce that. Click in here and downgrade this volume and play this video from here in here. So when you just play this video, organizing your audio tracks, label each track, for example music, dialogue, or SFX, to avoid confusion as the project progresses. Arrange the tracks so that they align with the video's visual flow, ensuring that each layer is properly synchronized with the video. Why this works? By organizing your audio tracks, you make it easier to adjust the timing, volume, and effects for each layer without affecting others. Mixing and balancing layers. Once your layers are in place, the next step is mixing the audio to ensure that each layer is balanced correctly. The goal is for all the audio elements to work together cohesively, without one overpowering the others. Adjusting volume levels. Use CapCut's volume sliders to adjust the levels of each audio track. Make sure the dialogue is clear and audible over the background music, and that sound effects don't drown out important moments in the video. For example, if you want to increase or decrease the sound effect volume, so you can just click in here, and here is a slider for volume, so you can increase that as well and decrease that as well as per the requirement. And you can see the change in bar as well. When you just increase that, it just goes up in here, and when you just keep it a little lower, it just goes down. Using fade-ins and fade-outs. Fade-ins and fade-outs can help create smooth transitions between audio layers. For example, you might want the music to gradually fade in at the start of the video and fade out at the end. For example, just go at the beginning of this video, and in here, let's say you want to add fade in at the beginning, so you can just click in here and you can set the timing for the fade in. For example, you just want it for 3 seconds. You can see the change in here. Here you can see, you can just increase that as well, for example for 5 seconds, and when you just play this video, it gradually increases. But if you want to add fade out, so you can just increase the timing of fade out as well. You can see the change in here as well, like when you fade out for 5 seconds, for example, here you can see there is a little gap in here which shows that it will gradually fade out. So when you just play this video at the end, in here, from here, it shows that there will be end of the video. Why this works? Smooth volume transitions help avoid harsh cuts or sudden changes in the audio, creating a more polished and professional result. Adjusting audio panning. You can also adjust the stereo panning, left or right balance of your audio to create a more immersive sound environment. For instance, if you want footsteps to sound like they're moving across the screen, you can gradually shift the sound from one side of the stereo field to the other. For that, you can just click in here, or you can search for example, just go to audio and click in here as footsteps and walking. You can select this, for example. So drag this in here, and for example the person is moving in here, zoom in for that as the person is walking. So you want to adjust this as per the walking, so you can just click in here, this part of the video, and now select this one and scroll down a bit in this audio section, click on fill channel, scroll down, click on this drop down menu, and for example you have two options, fill right with left or fill left with right. So you can choose any of these. For example, we just want to go with this one as fill right with left. So when you just play this video, so this is how you can adjust audio panning in CapCut. Applying sound effects and Foley. Sound effects are an essential part of sound design. These sounds can range from subtle ambient noise to dramatic, attention-grabbing moments. How to add sound effects? CapCut has a built-in library of sound effects, or you can import your own. After importing, drag the sound effect onto its own track in the timeline and adjust the timing to sync it with the video. For example, you search for birds chirping like this one as well. You can just adjust it in here on another timeline, and you can add it on this specific video. You can just have this part. Okay, so when you play this video from here, so this is how you can add sound effects in CapCut. Audio syncing with video. How to sync dialogue. Import the video and the corresponding voiceover or dialogue audio in CapCut. For example, you have recorded a lecture in here, as it has another voice as well, its own. But if you want to sync it with another one, so you can just upload the voiceover in here. Here you can see you have two audios right now. The first one is with the video, and the second one that you have recorded separately as a voiceover. Zoom in on the timeline to make final adjustments to the audio and video tracks. So you just press plus icon in here. Here you can see both the graphs almost match with each other. It means the audio is automatically synced with this video. But if it's not, you will have to make the adjustments. Use the waveform of the audio to align it with the speaker's mouth movements. This is where CapCut's visual audio waveform comes in handy, as it allows you to match the peaks and troughs of the audio with the visible lip movements in the video. Why this matters? Proper syncing ensures that the spoken words match the video precisely, making the video feel natural and believable. Small misalignments can be noticeable and distract the viewer. Syncing sound effects to action. Sound effects such as footsteps, door slams, or background noises need to be perfectly timed to match the actions in the video. Incorrectly synced sound effects can make your video feel off or worse, make it look like you didn't put in enough attention in detail. How to sync sound effects. Import the sound effects and drag them to the timeline. For example, you just play this video from here and let's see where the transition exists. In here. For example, here you can see there is a little transition in here, and you just want to add a transition sound effect. For that, you just go to audio, search in here as transition sound effect. You can use any of these. Scroll down a bit like this, and when you just put it in here and just match at the moment and play this video like this, so that in here. Now play this video as it must be in here. So it exactly matches at the transition time. Use the split tool in CapCut to cut the video at the points where the action happens. Align the sound effect, for example a door slam or punch, to the exact moment in the video when the action occurs. Why this matters? Proper sound effect syncing brings the video to life. If the sound effect is too early or too late, it will confuse the audience and break the realism of the scene. Syncing music to video. Music plays a huge role in setting the tone and pacing of a video. Syncing the music to the video ensures that the energy of the music matches the action on screen. How to sync music? Import your music track to the timeline and place it below your video track. You can use the CapCut's built-in library as well. For that, you will go to audio track and write in here as, for example, calm background music. And for example, you just want to go with this one, as it is about interview, so you can just write in here as a little energetic music, and you can use any of these. Like if you want to go with this one, so drag it into the timeline below this video track and at the start in here. Use CapCut's timeline zoom feature to precisely place the music speeds in sync with key visual movements in the video. Adjust the start of the music track, making sure the music builds up to match important visual moments, such as a climax or dramatic scene. Why this matters? Syncing music to video helps maintain the pacing of the edit. When the music aligns with visual moments, whether it's a beat drop or an energy shift, it creates a more immersive, emotionally engaging experience for the viewer. Using CapCut's tools to improve syncing. CapCut has several tools that make syncing audio easier and more accurate. Audio waveform. The visual waveform of the audio gives you a clear view of the sound, making it easier to match the audio with the video's visual cues. Here you can see we have two different audio tracks. The first one is with the video and the second one that we have recorded as a voiceover. So when you just match it, it just aligns with the video as well. The split tool allows you to cut the video or audio at precise moments, ensuring that you can adjust sync accurately. For example, you just want to sync in here, so bring it in here and use this split tool and this one as well. Here you can see you have separated this part from this part so that the syncing becomes easier and you can just adjust easily. Timeline zoom. Use this tool to zoom in on the timeline for a more detailed view of both the audio and video tracks, which makes syncing more precise. For example, you can use this tool in here, and here you can see when you just drag this part in here, and you can just match the waveforms in here. Creating a soundtrack for your video. Multiple tracks can be used, but must transition smoothly. For example, if you want to use CapCut's built-in library, so you can just click in here as audio tab and search for the song as, for example, energetic music. You can use any of these, but for example, we just want to go with this one, so drag it on the timeline, zoom out, and drag it in here. You can adjust the volume in here. For example, you just want it a little lower, so you can just drop it a little bit. Add fade in for realism, so you can just fade in, for example, for 3 seconds, and fade out as well for 3 seconds as well. For example, just zoom in to the timeline, and here you can see this fade in effect as well. So when you just play this video from here, it just adds energy to your content. Adding sound effects. Sound effects bring realism and depth. Ambient sounds. Background noises like birds, city hum, or rain immerse the viewer. Action sounds. Footsteps, doors, and engines synced with visuals enhance realism. Foley sounds. Custom recorded sounds. For example, gravel crunch. Make details stand out. For example, you search for in here, for example, birds chirping, and you can download any of these, for example this one, or morning birds in here, or this content is about education or job interview. So for example, you can just type in here as student activity, like this one, or if you want to add sound effects like rain sound, and like this one, heavy rain, rain sound, or gentle and pure rain sound. So you can use any of these as per requirement. For example, you just want to go with typing in here on keyboard, like this one or this one. So for example, when this happens in here, like in here on this timeline, so you can just add typing, for example this one on this timeline, so it shows that this is being typed. So this is how you can adjust sound effects in CapCut. Mixing and balancing the audio layers. Mixing ensures clarity and balance across dialogue, music, and effects. Balancing levels. Keep dialogue clear. Background music and effects should complement, as the sound of music and effect should be a little lower, like this one and this one as well. You should keep it a little lower as well. You can see the change in bars as well, like in here when you just reduce the volume, for example this one, so it just decreases and it is perfect for now. So when you just play this video from here, so it should be like in here until this moment. Adjusting volume for emphasis. Lower the music during dialogue, raise it during transitions. So you just select this part of the music and decrease the volume of that as the person is talking. Here you can see the change. This music remains the same, but this one has been decreased as this person is talking. And at this point in here, as it is just a graphics, and you must have the music to keep the audience engaged. Creating smooth transitions. Use fade-ins and fade-outs for seamless audio flow. For example, we have already used in here. At the beginning we have used fade-in, and at the last we have used fade-out in here at this point. Why this works? Balanced mixing avoids distraction and keeps focus where it belongs. Creating the soundtrack in CapCut. Importing audio. Place music, dialogue and effects on separate tracks for control. Keyframing volume. Adjust volume dynamically. For example, raising music gradually during a scene. Looping music. Extend shorter tracks by looping, ensuring transitions remain seamless. Color correction and color grading. Fixing exposure issues. Exposure controls brightness. For example, you just click on this clip in here and go to Adjust tab in here. Scroll down a bit. And here you can see you have exposure in here. When you just increase this up to 30 for example. Too bright, loses detail in highlights. Lower exposure slightly. For example, a little bit. For example, you just go to 10. Underexposure. When you just decrease this exposure up to -20 for example, like in here. Too dark, loses shadow control. Gently increase brightness. Adjust slowly to avoid making footage look artificial. For example, just go back and you can just increase a little bit to make it a little more natural. White balance adjustments. White balance keeps colors looking accurate. If footage is too warm, yellow or orange, reduce warmth. For example, just go in here. For example, at this point, like in here, click in here and go to Adjust tab, scroll down a bit, and here you can see you can reduce the warmth in here like that. If it's too cool, blue, increase warmth. For example, you can just increase that to make it a little warm, like in here. Use CapCut's temperature and tint slider for control. You can use temperature and tint as well. For example, when you decrease tint, it looks a little warmer. But when you increase that, it looks a little cool, like that. Proper white balance helps skin tones and whites look realistic. Adjusting contrast and saturation. Contrast adds depth. For example, when you scroll down a bit, this is contrast, and when you just increase that, here you can see when you just look at full screen, it adds depth. When you decrease that, it fades a little bit. Here you can see there is a big difference in here. High contrast means bold and punchy. Low contrast means flat. Saturation boosts or tones down colors. For example, when you increase saturation in here, like that, more vivid or more muted. When you decrease the saturation, like that, there is no specific colors in here. Use both to give your video the right visual energy and balance. What is color grading? Color grading is about creative styling, adjusting color tones to set the emotional mood, tone, and look of your video. It goes beyond technical fixes. The role of color in storytelling. Warm tones like reds or oranges means energy, comfort, or passion. Cool tones like blues or greens means calm, sadness, or distance. High contrast and bright color means excitement or action. Colors are not just visuals, they affect how the viewer feels. Popular color grading styles. Teal and orange. Shadows in teal, highlights in orange, cinematic and popular in films. Vintage or film look. Muted tones, soft contrast and nostalgic feel. Desaturated look. Low color, minimal style, often used for dramatic ones. Using CapCut's color grading tools. As we have applied color correction in here, so we can just apply color grading tools in here. At this point, for example, like in here. So you can just click in here as filters tab You have all these options available like Pro, Hits, Live, Landscape, Movies, and all of these. For example, you just want to go with this one as Oppenheimer, download that. When you just apply that in that specific clip, here you can see, when you just play this video from here, it has a very different look. You can apply, for example, live, and in here you can apply vivid, Control C that first, and apply vivid in here. So here you can see, it looks a little sharper than the previous one. If you want to apply that, so you can just click in here and drag that effect in here. So it has been applied on this specific clip. Manual adjustments. Tweak shadows, midtones, and highlights using the color wheel. For that, you will just have to select another clip. For example, we just want to work on this clip. So click in here, go to Adjust tab, and click on Color Wheel. Here, you can adjust shadows and middle gray as well. So use this wheel in here. For example, this one as exposure. To increase that, you can just go up. To decrease that, you have to go down. And to adjust middle gray, you can just drag that and go up to increase that, and go down to decrease that. You can have that red specific one, the white ones, and the greenish one is at the bottom. So this is how you can use color wheel in CapCut. LUTs, lookup tables. Apply preset cinematic looks like film or teal orange in one click. For example, you just Control Z that specific one, like that. Okay. To apply LUTs, you can just select the clip, for example this one, go to Adjust tab in here, scroll down a bit, and here's the option. Click on this drop down menu. Here you have multiple options like Coconut, Correction 1, Coconut Cube, Film Roll, and Panasonic in here as well. When you just click that, this effect has been applied to this specific clip in just single click. Fine-tuning your visuals for impact. Adjusting brightness and contrast. Brightness adjusts overall light levels. Fix dark or overexposed shots. For that, you can just select the clip in here, go to Adjust tab, and scroll down a bit. And here you can see in lightness, we have option as exposure. When you increase that, it increases the brightness. Here you can see the difference in here. When you just decrease that, it just makes it a little darker one, like that. The other option is contrast. Contrast controls the difference between light and dark areas. High contrast means bold visuals, while low contrast means soft, muted look. For that, you can just increase contrast in here, for example, and here you can see you have a really bold shape in here. But when you just decrease the contrast in here, like for example, we just go to -50, so it gives a little soft and muted look. In CapCut, sliders helps you tweak these settings gradually for natural looking results. Sharpening your video. Sharpness makes your video look crisp. In CapCut, subtle sharpening can improve clarity, but overdoing it may cause noise. Use it to enhance detail, especially on larger screens. For that, you can just select the clip, for example this one, go to Adjust tab, scroll down a bit. Here you can see, in effects we have option as sharpen. When you just increase that, you can see the difference in here. For example, we just go to 60 and just look at full screen, for example in here. Here you can see, it just enhances the details. When you just go back and increase a little bit, for example, we just go to 100, you can just see as full screen. Here you can see there's a big difference in here if you just go back to 0 in here. So you can see the difference as it just enhances the details. Using visual effects for emphasis. Visual effects help guide the viewer's focus or add drama. Vignette draws the eye to the center. For that, you can just click in here, go to the Adjust tab, and scroll down a bit. At the bottom, we have Vignette. When you just increase that, here you can see it just focuses on the center or anywhere you want it to be. And when you just decrease that, here you can see it draws attention to the center. So here you can see you can have the black one and the white one when you just decrease that. Lens flare adds intensity or emotion. Other effects, like glitch or blur, can add mood or highlight key moments. Use effects thoughtfully to match your message. Refining the color grade. This step ensures your video's colors are balanced and consistent. Use HSL tools to tweak specific colors. For that, you can just click this clip, go to Adjust, and click on HSL tab. And here you can see you have multiple options like the orange one, yellow one, green one, and sky blue, and all of these. For example, we're working on this specific color scheme as blue, so you can just click in here. After that, you can just change the hue, saturation, or brightness as well. For example, when you just increase that, here you can see it gives a little more bluish look. When you just increase the saturation, here you can see, for example, brightness as well. So here you can see the difference as well. For example, when you just decrease the hue, so it just gives a little contrasting view, like from blue to green. And for example, you decrease the brightness as well. So it just gives a very different look as per requirement. Adjust color temperature to match scenes shot in different lighting. For that, you can just select the clip, for example this one, go to Adjust tab, scroll down a bit, and here you can see in color we have options as temperature. So when you just increase that, it gives a little warm look, and when you just decrease that, it gives a little more cool look. Fine-tuned grading keeps your video visually cohesive and stylistically on point. Multi-layer editing for complex projects. What is multi-layer editing? Multi-layer editing means stacking video, image, and audio elements on separate tracks. For example, you have video in here, so drag that on timeline in here. And you have a voiceover in here, so drag that on the second track in here as audio track. You can have a text on another and music on separate audio track. For example, you can search for audio in here, and you can add any of the music. For example, you just want to go with this one, so download that and bring it on the timeline in here as a background music. And if you want to add images, so you can go with media and search for AI media and library as well. You can search for example, it's about interview, so you can search for interview job. So here there are multiple videos and audios that you can use as a B-roll. For example, you just want to go with this one, so download that and bring it on the timeline in here. Why this matters? It ensures a flexible, organized workflow and produces polished, professional results. Organizing layers in CapCut. Video layers. Base layer holds the main footage. For example, here you can see in here, this video track is our main footage. Add secondary clips, text, graphics, or effects. For example, we have used this video as a B-roll or secondary clip. Label each layer for clarity. For example, main video and text overlay. Audio layers. Dialogue, voiceovers, or spoken audio. For example, we have used voiceover in here, so this is our voiceover track. Music. Background tracks for mood. Here you can see we have used this track for background music. You can reduce the volume in here. For that, select that clip and reduce the volume up to like this, so that the dialogue doesn't fade out. Sound effects. Separate layer for effects like footsteps or rain. For example, you can just search for audio and search for in here as, for example, typing on keyboard. For example, if you want to add sound effect in here for this graphic, so you can just download that and drag it onto the timeline as third track in here. So when you just play this video from here, like on this point, so it adds emotion to the video. Why this matters? Layer organization lets you control volume, balance, and visuals more efficiently. Editing and blending layers. Layer visibility. Control what shows on screen by adjusting transparency. For example, if you want to mute music for a specific duration, so you can zoom in for that. And for example, when this typing happens for this duration, like till this point in here, and you just don't want music at that duration, so you can just split that part by using this tool and add this point, bring it in here and split that as well. Now select this clip and reduce the volume to 0. So when this plays in here, there will be no music in this duration and there will be only dialogue and this sound effect of typing keyboard. Opacity or transparency. Lowering opacity blends overlays smoothly with the base video. For example, we just go to the B-roll that we have already applied in here. So select that one, scroll down a bit, click in here for blend, and here you can see the option opacity. When you just zoom in a little bit, for example, if you want to blend this video with that specific video, you can just click in here, add a keyframe in here, and you can just go a little further at this point, and opacity will be 0. So when you just play this video from here, so here you can see it just blends with the base video. Why this matters? It keeps overlays and text integrated instead of distracting. Keyframes animate changes over time. Text fade in or move across the screen. For example, you zoom out and add a text layer at the beginning. For example, at this point, go to text tab. You can use the default text and you can use the text templates as well, like any of these if you want to go with. But for example, if you want to go with simple text, drag that at the timeline in here at the beginning of this video. So select that and enter text in here as job interview tips and tricks, and for example, tips and tricks. So this is basically the heading of this video. If you want to animate that, you can zoom in and click in here, scroll down a bit, and here you can see the option is opacity. For example, you just want to animate it as fade in, so you can just opacity to 0, add a keyframe in here, increase that part, for example till then. You just want it for 5 seconds, so keep it to 5 seconds in here, and select that, scroll down a bit, and opacity to 100%. So when you just play this video from beginning, here you can see it fades in a little slower, but if you want it to be a little faster, so you can just decrease this duration. For this keyframe, keep it in here as this point. After 2.5 seconds, you can say, play this video from here. So here you can see you make it a little faster as well, like for 1 second as well, like in here. If you want it to 1 second, like at this point, and keep this keyframe in here. So when you just play this video from here, it just fades in a little faster than the earlier one. Sound effects fade audio in or out at key moments. For example, when the person is typing, or in here, for example, select this part of the audio track, bring a music in here, for example, and this one, like we want a music in here as energetic music. You can download any of these. For example, we just want to go with this one, like this one, drop it on the timeline. For example, if you want the volume of music to be a little slower at this point when this graphic comes, so you can split this part from this one. So you can split this part from here and till that point, for example in here, split that as well. Select this clip in here, and here you can see you can add a fade in for this specific duration, or you can adjust the volume by using keyframe as well. For example, you just add keyframe in here, add a keyframe, and for example like this, and at the end of this clip it should be add another keyframe, and it should be a little faster like this. So it gradually increases as the video progresses. Why this matters? Keyframes create smooth animations and synchronize effects. Layer blending and effects. Blending modes. Adjust how two layers interact. For example, multiply for dramatic looks. Add motion blur, glitch, or light leaks for style. For example, you can go to effects in here and search for motion blur, like in here, dynamic blur, blur, or rapid blur as well. You can search for glitch effect, for example this one, and you just want to apply to this specific clip, so you can search that For example, click in here, split that part and till that point. And for example, if you want to apply a glitch in here, so drag that and drop it on the timeline in here. So when you just play this video, although it doesn't suit with this theme, but I just wanted to let you know that how it works. Or you can search for light leaks, for example, light leaks, and you can apply this one as well. For example, Ctrl Z that and drag it in here onto the timeline. So when you just play this video from here, this effect has been applied. You can apply with this one as well, and you can use any of these as per your requirement. Compositing and visual storytelling. What is compositing? Compositing means combining multiple visual elements like clips, images, graphics, and effects into one shot. Each element sits on its own layer, so you can adjust it independently. Why this matters? It lets you create rich, dynamic visuals that enhance storytelling and bring scenes together in ways a single shot can't. Layering elements for composition. Video layers. Place background clips at the bottom and overlays like text or graphics above them. For example, when you zoom out in here you can see this is our actual video clip, and we have added a text layer in here. When you just play this video, so this is how you can add multiple layers in CapCut. Image and graphic layers. Logos, icons, or illustrations can be added to their own tracks, animated and adjusted separately. So for example, if you want to go with this one, so you can just download that and drag it on the timeline in here. Now just extend that to the entire timeline. Now you can just type in here as, for example, you just want to go with 1580 and 880. Scale will be, for example, like this, about 40%. So this is how you can add graphic layer in CapCut. Why this matters? Layering gives you control and flexibility to build complex scenes without disrupting the main footage. Masking for creative compositions. Masks hide or reveal specific parts of a clip. In CapCut, you can apply circular, rectangular, or custom masks to isolate areas or create effects like reveals. For that, you can just select a clip, for example this one, and go to mask in here. You can add a mask like split, film strip, circle, rectangle, stars, heart, text, brush, and pen as well. So it just depends on what kind of project you're working on. Example, a logo or text can appear as if it's built into the scene using a mask. Why this matters? Masking makes it possible to blend elements naturally and add polished effects. Keyframing for animation and movement. Keyframing lets you animate properties like position, size, and opacity over time. Example, a text box can slide across the screen or fade in smoothly by setting start and end keyframes. For example, you just add text in here, or you can just go with text template as well, like this one. Or you can add a text in here and key effects. For example, you just want to go with this one. So download that and drag it onto the timeline in here. Select this one, change the text to, for example, interview footage. So when this footage comes, like from here, so this text should appear on the screen. To add a keyframe, you can just scroll down a bit, and here you can see you can change the position. For example, you set a keyframe in here as -3500, and this should be -800. Add a keyframe, and after a few seconds, like around here, it should be on 0, like that. So when you just play this video from here, like from this point, play it like that. This text just slides in from the left. Why this matters? Keyframing creates professional transitions and animations that hold the viewer's attention.